Haribol, Namaste, Krishna. Welcome to my short Kirtan, about 15 minutes, and then Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 2, where Krishna answers Arjuna's question that we discussed last week. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Sina Swarupananda Paramahansa Itinamine Shrimate Sira Swarupananda Paramahansa Itinamine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Shrimate Sira Swarupananda Paramahansa Itinamine Namasira Swarupananda Paramahansa Namine Orakaruna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Krishnayate Namasira Swarupananda Paramahansa Namine Orakaruna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Krishnayate Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Askacha Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Askacha Deshatarine Bhajashi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Bhakta-vrinda Bhajashi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Da-da-da-da, Shri Vasudeva, Bhakta Vrinda, Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Da-da-da-da, Shri Vasudeva, Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Hare, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Jaya Vrindavan, Shri Govinda, Gopinatha, Madana, Mohana, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Jaya Vrindavan, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajika Satara Sapta Shishimad Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajika Satara Sapta Shishimad. His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koda Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Nitai Goswal Mission Ki Jai. Navadvita Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Mathuradam Ki Jai. Mayapodam Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. All glories to Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sama devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Amagina Timarandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Statpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanan Pavenbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before speaking, first I offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagakuru Siddhasarupananda Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, and is very dear to Radha and Krishna. For my respectful obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the fallen living entities, and are full of compassion upon them. Ibo, namaste. Thank you for joining me. So we're continuing Bhagavad Gita, the divine song of or hymn of Sri Bhagavan, the Supreme Person who is van or full of all the bhagas or opulences. 29 verses in chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita, making it one of the shorter chapters. And we're in the first verse sequence, so there's 6 verse sequences. The first one is work in devotion is better than renunciation of work. And this is text 1 to 6. Then working without attachment, the 3 doers. Liberation, fixed in the Supreme. Liberation, an Astanga Yoga preview. Astanga is the eightfold yoga path of Patanjali, but Krishna also teaches it in chapter 6, or aspects of it in chapter 6. And then the last verse gets its own section, the peace formula. This is verse 29, where Krishna outlines the peace formula. Recognizing Krishna as the recipient of all austerities, or beneficiary of all austerities and sacrifices, and the Lord, Supreme Lord of all the worlds and all the people, and the well-wisher of all living entities. One who realizes this attains peace. Bhaktaram Yagnatapasam Savaloka Maheshwaram Suridam Savabhutanam Natvamam Shanti Vichite. So Shanti, peacefulness. So this is kind of like, this is like a climactic verse, the 29th verse. So all the other verses are leading up to it. So we have to, keeping the whole perspective of how Krishna is working through Bhagavad Gita from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Krishna hasn't really, other than in chapter 4, in the section we discussed quite at length, when he described how he, first of all, that he'd spoken to Vivishwan millions of years ago and conveyed the science of yoga to him. And now he's revealing it to his friend and devotee Arjuna. And Arjuna asks, well, wait a minute, Krishna, what do you mean you spoke this millions of years ago to Vivishwan? You appeared in Mathura as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Not that long ago, in fact, Krishna were the same age. Right? So Arjuna sort of challenges him. This leads to Krishna then answering his question, explaining to Arjuna, well, yeah, Arjuna, I can remember all of my previous births or appearances. You can't remember any of them. So Krishna is, actually for the first time, well, not the first time, in chapter 2, text 61, Krishna alludes to his being the Supreme Lord, but there in chapter 4, Krishna makes it really clear. And then he goes on to explain, the reasons for his appearance, and so on. In a few verses there, text 7 and 8 explains, or 8, perhaps it's 8 and 9, 7 or 8 or 9, explains the reasons for his appearance. And then he says that one who knows the nature of my transcendental appearance and activities, does not take birth again. So just in those verses in chapter 4, Krishna has described his Supreme Godhead, asserting that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then he moves on from there, a few verses later on, and it's not again until this chapter 5, text 29, where Krishna again states that he's the Supreme Lord. So, in this text 29, he states that one who knows this truth about him that he's the beneficiary or recipient of all austerities and sacrifices, that he's the Maheshwaram, the master of all the worlds, the lokas, and of all the people, and that he is Suridam Sarvabhutanam, the well-wishing friend of all the living entities. Natvamam Shanti Mrichate, so Natvamam, one knowing me as in this way, Shanti. Shanti Mrichate, Shanti attains peacefulness. So anyway, so this is an important verse, and we'll talk about that a lot when we get there. Bhaktivedanta Swami, called this the peace formula. He would talk about how there's the United Nations and they're trying to attain peace, achieve peace, not working very well. And, appreciating Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had, been through World War II, although, India about to be invaded. I think there was even bombing in Calcutta, Japanese bombed Calcutta. So Bhaktivedanta Swami had been through all this, and then the establishment of the United Nations and the world's hopes to achieve peace. In fact, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, of course, had lived through World War I, and this was called the war to end all wars. And this led, after World War I, led to the founding of the League of Nations, which then America refused to join, more or less sentencing it to failure. But even so, United Nations hasn't achieved its aim of preventing war. Anyway, so Bhaktivedanta Swami had lived through this, and so calling this verse the peace formula, the real peace formula, is kind of very sort of historically significant. Anyway, so the section we're in is work and devotion is better than renunciation of work. There's text 1 to 6. So last week's verse, text 1, Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work. And then again you recommend work with devotion." So the renouncing work is like sannyas karma. You ask me to renounce karma, work, action, sannyas. And then again you recommend work with devotion. This is karma yoga. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Which of these two is the most beneficial? So of course we talked about text 1 at length last week, so I won't go into it again. But as I mentioned last week, Arjuna had asked this question at the beginning of chapter 3, and then also in chapter 2, text 7, where Arjuna is asking Krishna, please tell me definitely what is most beneficial for me, Shreyas. Nishitam Bruhitan me. So tell me definitely, which Akshaya Shan Nishitam Bruhitan me. Tell me what is most auspicious, what is Shreyas for me. Please tell me definitely. He's confused about his duty, he doesn't know what to do. Should he fight, not fight? He doesn't want to fight. And, so he asks Krishna this in chapter 2, text 7. Krishna then begins, speaking Bhagavad Gita, giving transcendental knowledge, Atma Tattva, the truth of the soul, that we are spiritual in essence. We're not the body. That we exist eternally. Dahino Ashmin Yata Dehi Kamaram Yavanam Jara. That just as we pass through different stages in life, of childhood, boyhood, old jara, old age, that we, similarly, we pass into another body at death. And never was there a time when neither you nor I nor all these kings here didn't exist in the past. We're currently existing, and we will exist in the future. So Krishna gives Arjuna Atmatapa, the science of the self. But then Krishna goes on, as we discussed last week, to talk about transcendental knowledge and Sankhya. Transcendental knowledge, samadhi, meditation, prajna, knowledge. So Arjuna then kind of got confused. Well, tell me, how does he sit? How does a person in prajna or samadhi, how does he sit? How does he walk? What does he do? How does he talk? Krishna answers. And so Arjuna's kind of confused. Well, am I supposed to aspire for samadhi? But at the same time, you're telling me to work, to fight. Why are you telling me to do this atrocious thing of fighting? So now, in chapter 5, Arjuna's question is a little bit more refined. He's just talking about work, karma. You're asking me to renounce work. This is at the end of chapter 4. Krishna sort of made a few statements, texts 41 and 42, that kind of confused Arjuna, as we discussed last week. And so Arjuna's asking him, you asked me, Krishna, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion or karma yoga. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? So then Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan Nuvacha, the Blessed Lord said, this is text 2, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of works. So, Krishna is giving a very definitive answer here. He's telling Arjuna, okay, of the two, karma yoga is better than sannyas or renunciation. Karma yoga, working. And, as I've explained in the past, Bhaktivedanta Swami almost sort of liberally translates karma yoga as devotional service. So karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga. Nishkama means working without desire. Without attachment to the results. This is what karma yoga is, working without attachment to the results. So how does one work without attachment to the results? Right? Like, why would someone do that? Like, if I go and ask someone on the street, hey, look, would you mind just working and, not being attached to the results? Donating a significant portion of it, and doing your best with your children to bring them up as best you can. But if they turn out badly, don't be in distress. So in other words, yoga has three basic characteristics. So the first one is samatvam, equanimity, or seeing with equal vision. Krishna in so many times, or in text 38, he tells, of chapter 2, tells Arjuna, just perform your duty. Be equal in happiness and distress, victory or defeat. So he's like telling a warrior, go into this battle and don't care if you achieve victory or defeat. So normally, warriors and fighters and whoever, they're normally very passionate. They want to win. All they care about is winning. They don't want to lose. They don't want to be losers. have to laugh just because of the politics in America, where there's a particular person who doesn't like to be a loser. That's his ultimate, the ultimate insult is to call someone a loser. Anyway, so warriors, they don't want to be losers. They want to win. Or Krishna is telling Arjuna, hey, don't be equal in success or failure. Sidya sidyo. be equal in success or failure. I mean, it's like, oh my God, that's pretty tough, yeah? I mean, gosh. You know, normally we get, like, if we win, we go, yay! You know, getting carried away here with throwing my iPad away. You know, we get all excited. He's winning, you know, and we identify, like this week, and is the Super Bowl, right? This huge football game that takes place in America once a year that everybody goes nuts about. You know, it's like this huge event, you know, that, you know, I don't know if it's 100 million people, whatever, a huge number of people watch. And it's like they're all rooting for their team. In fact, like in the neighborhood here, like as a touchdown is scored, people set off rockets. You know, like in Hawaii here, they have bring in these illegal aerials, they're called, and they make this huge explosion, like unbelievable, you know. So anyway, so each time their team scores a touchdown, people fire off these aerials and there's a boom, you know, or if the team wins, you know, so it's like, and if they lose, you know, depression, dejection, you know, what a bummer. I want a bummer. And if I win, I'm all elated, you know. Whereas Krishna is saying, no, be equal in happiness and distress, success or failure. I mean, be equal in happiness or distress. You know, in other words, you know, he likens it to being equal in the winter and summer seasons. Sitoshna sukha dukkha daha. You know, there's chapter 2, text 14. Sukha dukkha, sukha happiness, dukkha distress. You know, or sitoshna, the winter and summer and winter seasons. Just be equal. Don't be all dejected. Don't get all elated. Don't be all dejected. You know, just perform your duty. You have to bathe in the winter, and you have to cook in the summer. So just perform your duty. You know, he's telling this to Arjuna. So essentially, this is samatvam, equanimity. It's one of the characteristics of yoga. Any kind of yoga. This is what they're supposed to be. And not only this equanimity, but also seeing equally, seeing with equal vision. And Krishna talks about this in chapter 5, text 19. You know, that the Pandit sees with equal vision, the cow, the dog eater, the humble brahmana. You know, so seeing with equal vision. Pandita samadashinaha. The Pandit sees sama with equal dashinaha, or the seeing is the dashinaha, sees sama equally. You know, so this is an important aspect of yoga, is to be equal in happiness and distress. I mean, can you imagine being, you know, so in other words, not being all depressed when there's bad news, and not being all elated when there's good news, you know. Now this is, you know, this is a real test of our our actual understanding and appreciation of Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad Gita. You know, whether we can actually live our life like this. You know, in the chapter 18, text 54, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma na sochiti na kankshiti. So, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma, Brahma Bhuta, one who is Brahman realized, you know, realizing that I'm not the body, that I'm, you know, part and parcel of the Supreme, he becomes fully joyful. And so this joyfulness is a spiritual joyfulness. It's like a tasting of the ananda or blissfulness. You know, atma tattva, self-realization of the soul, appreciating that I'm spiritual in essence. Then one becomes fully joyful. Why is there joy? Because I realize I'm not the body. I don't die. I live forever. I'm spiritual in essence. And so na sochiti na kankshiti. You know, again, the equalness. I don't get all elated. and I don't get all distressed. I'm equal in it. Sama Saveshu Bhuteshu, I'm equal towards all living entities, knowing that they're all Brahman, spiritual in essence. So Krishna says this in many verses. I'm just hitting on a couple. But in chapter 12, for example, where Krishna talks about bhakti yoga, in the final 6 or 7 verses of that chapter, which is the shortest chapter in the Gita, Krishna says 2 or 3 times how dear to him a person is who's equal in happiness and distress. Yes, this is such an important point, this samatvam, equanimity, being equal in happiness and distress. So like I say, it's like a bit of we can take a rain check on how we're doing. Do we get all dejected and depressed when something unpleasant happens in our lives? I mean, of course, it's natural, right? Naturally, we're going to, if we go through hardships, it's not like we're not going to be running around being joyful, or if when good things happen, we're not going to go, oh, I'm going to be all depressed. It's just that it's equanimity, appreciation, that I experience good things as a result of my past activities, and they're temporary, and I experience bad things as a result of my past activities, and they're temporary also. They come and go, like the coming of the winter and summer seasons. So accepting this reality and being equal. So this first characteristic. Second characteristic of yoga is sacrifice, so yajna. Krishna begins bringing this up in chapter 3, text 9. That's yajna, that sacrifice has to be formed for yajna. Yajna is Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So sacrifice or offering of the results. So in other words, we engage in our karma yoga, in our activities, but we're offering the results to the Supreme Lord. This doesn't mean that we give everything, but we offer a portion. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Sharanagati songbook, 2 aspects of Sharanagati, or self-surrender, to see Krishna as my soul maintainer and as my soul protector. And so Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely presents the attitude of a Vaishnava, of a devotee, that he's feeling that this household is not my house, Krishna, it's your house. That this spouse, this wife, or these children, they're not my wife, my children. No, the wife is your maidservant, and the children are your children. Acharya Das tells a nice story of him going to Rajasthan, to Jaipur, where the Govindaji temple is, Radha Govinda. These were the principal deities established by Srila Rupa Goswami. And, the Muslim zealot, Aurangzeb, and other Muslim zealots several times went to Vrindavan and desecrated the temples and tried to destroy the deities if they could get a hold of them. So Govindaji was sent to Jaipur in Rajasthan, where there's Vaishnava kings, warriors. And they were never really truly defeated by the Muslims. And anyway, so in the palace grounds in Jaipur of the Maharaj, there's Govindaji's temple. So anyway, Acharya tells the story about how he and Tusta were there, and they were staying, and Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada arranged for them to stay at the house of the police chief. And so anyway, each day, the head of the police in Jaipur would go to Govindaji and report to him what he'd done and what he was going to do today. So he's seeing himself as the servant of Govinda, Govindaji. And so this is the attitude of that a devotee should have, also a person in Karma Yoga should have, feeling that everything I'm doing, I'm performing for you. So this is my offering. This is my offer. I'm offering my time. I'm offering my intelligence. I'm offering my family, my job, my car, my house, my everything. And of course in the process of bhakti yoga, well, in our homes we establish a temple. We have deities, where we have the deities of Radha Krishna or Krishna, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, our spiritual master, and we make offerings. And we make them the center of our house, of our home, of our life. Each, we see them in the morning and we confide in Krishna, what I'm doing, what I've done, what I'm doing. We chant his holy names in his presence. We read his pastimes in his presence, and so on. We put him to bed. So the Supreme Lord is the center of the house, of the home. So this is the sacrifice. So the third aspect of yoga is detachment, tyaga. Detachment. So some of this detachment is similar in some ways to equanimity, or samatvam, but tyaga means, the being detached. Detached. Right? So it's described sometimes as loving detachment. So it's like, it's understanding, I'm not the body. So actually I have nothing to do with this world. But I have a relationship with this person who's, so does that mean, no, you're not the body, so I don't have any feelings for you. I have feelings of loving you as a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and as the person that I'm having a loving relationship with. It's, with Krishna as the center, and we're working together to serve our spiritual master and Krishna, but I don't care about you, or the child I have. So it's loving detachment. The detachment is the appreciation and understanding that this is not my real identity. This is not a permanent situation I have here. And the deeper aspect of detachment is renunciation, the sannyas, where one actually renounces the world. This is only for a small number of people who do this. But of course, in this part of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is kind of asking, well, look, I actually want to renounce the world because I don't want to perform my duty. I don't want to fight. Hell, I'm going to have to, I'm going to go to hell if I fight, because I've heard, from reliable sources, disciplic succession, that it's bad to kill relatives. Very bad. To destroy, the Kula Dharma, the tradition of the family. This is bad. I don't want to do it. I want to give up the world. So this is where sort of Arjuna is coming from. But anyway, this karma yoga, this equanimity, this sacrifice, and this detachment, what's it based on? It's based on transcendental knowledge. Atma Tattva, basic knowledge that Krishna gave to Arjuna in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2. They were not the body. Otherwise how can you do any of this? How can someone who doesn't have realization that I'm not the body, how can they be detached? How can they be equal and seeing others with equal vision? If we're thinking we're the body, none of this is possible. If we think we're the body, then I think the goal of life is sense gratification, to accumulate as much stuff as possible, to enjoy through my senses as much as possible, to exploit others for my enjoyment. So karma yoga is based on transcendental knowledge. And so this is, Krishna's point here when he's answering Arjuna's question about which is better, sannyas karma, giving up action, or karma yoga, engaging in detached action, nishkama karma yoga, engaging in activities without attachment to the fruit or the results, without desire for the results, acting because I want to do the right thing, I'm following Krishna's instructions for how we should live in this material world, the Varnashram Dharma, according to my Varna, my occupational duties, according to my ashram, my stage of life, this is karma. That is karma yoga. But karma yoga is not actually. It's a part of bhakti yoga, but you can be a karma yogi, without being a devotee. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, of course, he likes to always translate karma yoga as devotional service, because that in a way he's kind of like getting ahead of where Krishna's at in the Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna hasn't yet said all that you do and all that you eat and all that you offer and give away, do it as an offering for me. He says that in chapter 9. Right? So up to this point, Krishna hasn't said it yet. So Krishna's talking about karma yoga, this working, this sort of idea. Sometimes there's a modern idea, servant leadership. Serving others, working for the benefit of others. This is a type of karma yoga. It's working without attachment. You're not trying to get the fruit for yourself. You're working for the benefit of others. So this is beneficial. Or karma, following one's Varnashram duties, your swadharma, your particular duties within the Varnashram system, according to your stage of life and what your occupational duties are. Maybe you have a job, so you're working for someone. Well, so they're paying you money for your time, so you should be giving them their time. Not this kind of attitude of like, I'm on a bummer because, I don't like the boss. They don't pay me enough. So no, whatever you're doing, you should do it according to your status in life. Do what you need to do. Do it properly. Do the right thing. Perform your duty. Be a good parent. Be a good spouse. Be a good boss. Follow the rules. Follow the road rules. Don't go against the red lights, etc., etc., right? Be ethical. Don't steal. So on and so forth. This is all part of karma yoga, following the rules and regulations that Krishna has given. But, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada elaborates in his purport very clearly that, so this is good, right? This is good, this kind of karma yoga. But the real goal of life is to develop your love for Krishna. Right? There's 5 goals of life. The first one is dharma, or religiosity. So this kind of karma yoga I'm describing, this is sort of fitting into the goal of dharma, religiosity, morality, doing the right thing. But that's not the goal. So there's dharma, there's artha, economic development, earning wealth, making money, and there's karma, sense gratification or sense enjoyment, right? So within the Vedic system, there was like these 3 goals: dharma, artha, karma, right? Dharma is the most important. So artha and karma have to be done in accordance with Dharma. So not this unrestricted, unrestrained sense gratification that we see in the West or in the world today. No, it's constrained within Dharma, within religious principles. But anyway, that's the three principal goals of life, according to the Vedas. And then the fourth goal, which is elaborated upon within the Upanishads, which are a section of the Vedas, is mukti, or liberation. But the fifth and highest goal of life, the purushartha, is bhakti, prema bhakti, pure love for Krishna. So this is the goal. And this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So in 1865, Manmadabhava Madbhakto, just think of me. Krishna says to Arjuna, just think of me. Like this thinking, it's more than just thinking. It's like absorption or meditation. Just think of me. Bhava Madbhakto, become my devotee. Love me. Serve me. Right? Make Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru. Offer your obeisances and your worship to me. Make me the whole center of your life. That's what Krishna is asking Arjuna to do. Then in the 1866, just surrender unto me. Abandon all varieties of Dharma. So we've talked about this Dharma, Artha, Kama, and essentially Kama Yoga. Just forget it. Abandon it. Sarvadhamam parityaja. Give it up. Abandon it. Sarvadhamam, all aspects of Dharma. And do what? Mamikam saranam braja. Saranam, take shelter, surrender. To who? To Mam, me. Ekam, one-pointedly, just one. To me, not anyone else. So this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So this Kama Yoga, and Krishna is saying that Kama Yoga is better than sannyas, renunciation. He's saying, no, Kama Yoga is better. It's a safer path. In chapter 3, Krishna described, because Arjuna is asking the same thing, of course, wait a minute, do you want me to fight or not fight, You want me to engage in meditation or not, And Krishna, in chapter 3, he tells Arjuna, no, there's two kinds of people. Some people are naturally very renounced, but others are in the world. They're not ready to take to this renunciation. So there's different paths for different people. But if you renounce the world, but all you're doing is sitting there, you're chanting your japa, and you're doing your meditation, and you're looking very holy. You've got all the holy clothes on. You've got like the right shirt and the right dhoti, and you got the right haircut, you got the tilak lines just perfect. But while you're doing this, you're thinking about the beautiful girl over there. Well, then and how you want to enjoy with her. So this is, Krishna says, that's a pretender. A person who does that, who's sitting there, but actually contemplating the objects of the senses, is just a pretender. And that everybody's active. You can't live without action. So better you engage in Kama Yoga and perform your duty. This is a safer path. One who renounces the world but then comes back into it, is going to be criticized. This is not good. This is not a good Balada Vijabhusana calls them a vintasi, someone who eats their own vomit. So Krishna is saying, hey, it's a better path to engage in action, in Kama Yoga. And it's purifying, and it's based on knowledge, and you get the same result as someone who renounces the world. Atma Tattva, realization of the self. This is what Krishna is saying in this verse. So very practical. But for devotees, Vaishnavas, this, of course, this is what we should be doing. Karma yoga. But we should appreciate that it's not just about, just performing our varnashram duties in a responsible way. No, we have to be acting for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord and engaging in the practices of sadhana bhakti. So this sadhana bhakti, this is not part of karma yoga. Sadhana bhakti is a separate process. It's part of developing bhakti, or love for Krishna. So the processes of sadhana bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So Kirtanam, hearing about, the Shravanam, hearing about, Kirtanam, speaking about, chanting Krishna's names, chanting about his pastimes. Vishnu Smaranam, remembrance, Smaranam, also includes meditation. These are the three most important sadhana bhakti processes. So these are the important processes that we have to follow. But this is not the goal. The goal is not to engage in the processes of sadhana bhakti. The ultimate goal of life is to achieve prema bhakti, pure love for Krishna. So this pure love for Krishna means to be loving Krishna in one of the rasas, or primary moods of pure love for Krishna. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Neutrality, service, friendship, parenthood, or consort, lover. So this is the ultimate goal, and these are spiritual. They just don't take place on the mundane level. So this is the goal. This is what we're working towards. So in our situation, we perform karma yoga, and we engage in sadhana bhakti. Karma yoga action, of course, is an aspect of bhakti yoga and sadhana. And we offer to the Supreme Lord, and we engage in pleasing our spiritual master. We hook up as best we can in his mission, his outreach programs, or in his particular projects. We do what we can to assist our spiritual master. And we follow his instructions. We make his instructions our life and soul. So the next verses in this section, Krishna elaborates and explains, why karma yoga is better. So we'll talk about that in a little bit in the verse next week. And then he again makes the same point that he made in chapter 3, that the goal or the result of following either of these paths is the same. These are all these different kinds of yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, sannyas yoga, whatever. They're on the yoga ladder, and the ultimate yoga is bhakti yoga. And from bhakti yoga, we can achieve, or included within bhakti, there's two kinds or actually three kinds of bhakti. The sadhana bhakti, and bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So our goal is prema bhakti, pure love for Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Haribo, namaste. Thank you very much. Krishna Krishna.